What is up, everyone? It is Monday again, so you know what that means. Another Monday metagame update. We just had a new set come out, so we've got some new decks to look at. Let's get into it. Alrighty, well, what is up, everyone? Hope you're having a wonderful week. Happy Monday. LCI, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, just came out, so we actually have some churn in the standard meta, which is nice. So we're going to look at standard, historic, alchemy, and then we're going to take a look at some Twitter deck lists and things like that. So yeah, let's take a look. So standard first. We're going to see some old data, of course, people playing the old decks, but you're going to see some new stuff too that looks very promising. So of course, humans was the strongest deck before in best of one, still the strongest deck. Mono red aggro also, top three arguably of the best of one decks. And then Selesnya Enchantments was not quite up there, but it's a solid deck nonetheless, and it was doing pretty well before. So it's still very strong. We're going to take a look a little bit lower on the tier list at a few of the new decks that people have been trying out. For example, Is It Pirates shows a lot of promise, boasting a 54% win rate already, and it's a brand new deck, and it's only been, like a week or so, and, it's doing great, so we're taking a look at that. And if we look at the list a little bit, you've got Captain Storm, you got Breaches, Kite Sail, Larcenist, got some Witchstalker Frenzy Removal, Malcolm, Staunch Crewmate, and Subterranean Schooner. And then, of course, Voltage Surge, the Spyglass Siren, Kumano, and Goblin. So this version is leaning a little into the mono red aggro side of things, and a little bit less on the Captain Storm, which is interesting. I actually found this card to be completely busted. Of course, it dies to cut down, but against other colors, it does quite well. And you can usually kind of do things where you can play the captain and an artifact on the same turn. That way you can get the trigger, pretty much immediately. Of course, people can blow up things if they really want to. I think the schooner is a good include. I had a few other vehicles in the deck that I really, really liked. So I'm a little bit shocked that they aren't playing any of those other vehicles. But it's early days and they're probably just trying out different things and seeing what works. So I can't really blame them for that. This one has 4 captains. Makes sense to me as well. Everyone's playing Kumano though. I find that a little bit strange. It doesn't really synergize with the deck. I guess it is a pretty strong card, but not a whole lot of synergy, to be honest. So yeah. I don't know, do we really need Kumano in this deck? I'm not sure. It's not a pirate. It doesn't make artifacts. Yes, it gives a +1/+1 counter to your stuff, but that's about it. I don't know. Maybe maybe it could be a 2 of. I don't know if it really should be a 4 of. I don't think you really want to cut your schooner, and I could definitely see playing some of the other vehicles, the belligerent or the magnetic schooner. Is it called magnetic something? The one that does 5 damage and kills something and gives you a treasure. Both of those were really good vehicles. So, all right. Let's keep going on. So that one is pretty cool. We also see there is some other decks here. Orzhov Control, Mono Black Combo, etc. So, and Mono White Angels here also doing pretty well. So if we want to look at some of these, see if there's any new cards in the Orzhov one. Orzhov one doesn't seem that new, so I guess this is an old brew. But if we look at the Angels, of course this one is new because we know Resplendent Angel just got added to the set, and there was already a few good Angels, Sarah Paragon, Steel Seraph. We still have Giada in there as kind of a ramp for our Angels deck. So Resplendent Angel, the top end, if you can get to 6 mana, you win the game for the most part with this card. And I guess if you have other ways to gain the life, you can kind of also do it that way, but maybe only Steel Seraph is the only other one that can kind of give you good enough life gain to get 5 life. Yeah, it looks interesting. I can't imagine this one is tier 1. The Pirates one, yes, I could believe that. This one, I'm not so sure. But it's fun deck if you like Angels. Now's your chance while the meta is still getting sorted out. Alright, in Historic, there is a new king in town, the Geist combo. Everyone is literally playing this deck. I mean, not everyone. People still play Wizards and stuff like that, but Geist combo is the one that a lot of people are talking about. And you've got Geist of St. Traft, which was a pretty strong card in Explorer or Pioneer for a while. When it attacks, create a 4/4 angel creature token that's tapped and attacking, exile it at the end of turn. And so you have a way to cheat that into play with one of the new cards. Let's see, which one is it? I remember. Yeah, I played against this a couple times. It was pretty annoying to get down all their ley lines and things like that. Well, I thought there was a way to cheat it into play, but I'm not seeing it in any of these deck lists, which is a little bit strange. So maybe not. Maybe just drop down literally every ley line. Try to. Oh yeah. That's it. That is it. So you get any of the ley lines down for free on turn 0. Then you fragment reality on your ley line. It puts the Geist into play, and it has hexproof. And also, if you have the other ley lines like Sanctity or something, then they can't even target you to make them sack. Like all the ley lines still play an effect in this as well. So they just make the Geist big. They put a bunch of stuff on it. You can't really deal with it because I got it out on turn 1. So some people are calling this the Geist scam in Historic because it's like Rakdos scam. It's pretty obnoxious, and I wonder if Geist of St. Traft is the best version of the deck. Because you could cheat just about anything out that's 3 mana, but that's what most people are going for. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Geist scam. So new Historic deck doing quite well. And there's a 4-color and a 5-color version. 4-color version, this one has a 72% win rate, so even higher. I guess mana consistency helps. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that's in Historic now. People are doing that. It's pretty annoying. Yeah, so let's keep going. Alchemy, this is kind of settled. We have the new set, so people aren't really playing so much Alchemy recently. But if you do like to play, Mardu Pegs and Esper Dollmaker and the 4-color legends are kind of like the top spots right now, fighting for control. And any of those decks are pretty viable in that format. All right, let's move to Twitter stuff. So we got Robert Taylor here with the recent standard top 8 deck lists for the standard challenge. And we see some new cards already popping in here. Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel, is in this blue-white aggro deck. I think that's about it from the new set for this one. So Malcolm sees some play. This is a brand new deck here. This is Esper midrange, but it's a new Esper midrange because you've got Deep Cavern Bat and Subterranean Schooner in here. Those are the 2 new cards. The rest are, I guess, pretty similar to what was there before in the Esper midrange deck. But Schooner and the Deep Cavern Bat getting some play to make it a little bit more tempo oriented and stealing your opponent's removal spells and stuff like that. And we also see a red and white aggro deck. This is the new kind of Krenko mob boss card that's just even better than Krenko, and generates a bunch of tokens. Pretty annoying to deal with. So you make a bunch of tokens. You can pump your Warden of the Inner Sky as well. This one's even playing Inti. That's a little bit crazy. Oh, okay, Inti. Inti is the 2 mana aggro guy. So no, Inti actually makes a lot of sense. All right, I was thinking there's another card that's a 6 mana one that sounds similar. But Inti, okay, yeah, Inti makes sense. Kellen, Daring Traveler. So a lot of new cards in here. Really a lot of new cards. So this is pretty much a brand new deck. So brand new red-white aggro, making a bunch of tokens, dealing a lot of damage very quickly, getting a huge board state. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I mean, personally, I'm not a big aggro fan, but this is at least more interesting than mono white. I feel like that hasn't really changed at all since the last 2 years. Um, I'll probably end up hating this in the future, but for now, it's a little bit more interesting. All right, and then finally, fourth place is basically the same deck as first place. So we got the blue-white aggro deck, which blue-eye soldier splashing Malcolm for some reason. Yeah, that's about it. So there you go. That's your top four. There are a few other interesting decks in the 5 through 8, mostly mono red, and then we got a Rakdos control deck here, which is a little bit interesting, but not really playing any new cards in this one. All right, and there's been a lot of brews on Twitter. So this is there's a historic play-in event, and people are using the this geological appraiser, which basically has cascade, and you can cascade into Eldritch Evolution, which lets you sack your appraiser to cast another creature from your deck. You cast this 5-mana creature, which also has cascade for X, where it's its power, so that's 4. And you do that, it casts another Praiser, which casts the Eldritch Evolution. Then you sack your sun-favored creature here, and then that lets you cast any of these giant spells. So, yeah, basically you're kind of like scamming your 4-mana play into. You could either do a bunch of things actually. You could either have like a huge board, go wide because this cascades into this, and then this sacks itself to cascade, and you just do the glass pool mimic and stuff like that, and you just keep getting a bunch of cascade effects. Potentially casting like get a bunch of creature spells. But then I think finally your last one that you're gonna hit will be Eldritch Evolution to sack your this one here, the sun favored creature. Hence Laza. And then you get some giant spell. So turn 4, you can potentially cast like an 8-mana spell, and then hopefully that's good enough to win you the game. And this person, you know, they took it all the way. They got their 7 wins in best of 3 in historic with this deck, so they kind of proved that it's possible. Another cool deck is from Zenjiro. He is making like a proliferate deck with the throne card here, I guess, to kind of pump up the Liliana to have, you know, 6 loyalty immediately, which is kind of interesting. And then I guess you can also like quickly pump out your Gix command here because you can proliferate that. You get a bunch of treasures as well to get out your big stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's doing a lot of crazy things. I don't totally honestly know like the whole idea behind it, but I think you can do a lot of cool stuff with this new throne card, this moving throne or whatever it's called. And this person's showing you that, you know, you can even use it to do proliferate shenanigans. So that's pretty broken in certain circumstances. All right. Next one up, Maffy the Magic Muffin is playing a lot of the new cards with the Rakdos Madness stuff in Historic. So Flame Blade Adept, Fiery Temper, got a lot of good Madness cards. But now we have a lot of new good ways to discard cards as well. So Bitter Triumph, discard and remove a creature. Inti, whenever a creature attacks, like you can discard and play off the top of your deck, stuff like that. So yeah, with Madness, it's kind of like a 2-for-1 for all those situations because you discarded, but you still get to play the card with Madness. Yeah, seems pretty good. Interesting historic stuff, though the Geist stuff might still just be better, but it's still fun to see some of these decks. And this one is Esper. Yeah, this is the new Esper mid-range with the bat here and the schooner. So those are kind of the new ads. Some people are even playing this little 1-drop here. The forget what that one was called. The Spyglass Siren. So yeah, Esper mid-range. That's the new one. And then Next up, oh yeah, this is the scam deck. We saw Geist scam. So with the ley line, some people took it on the play-in qualifier, getting their wins there with this one. Another deck is Esper Control in Best of One. This is the basically just a normal control deck, but it's got the calendar as the win con. Kind of the only win con. We have Wandering Emperor and we have a Mirex, but those are going to take a very long time to win. So basically, your calendar is your win con, and they're running 6 sweepers: Depopulate, Sunfall, and Farewell, and a ton of removal, a ton of counters just to stall out while they get the Millennium counter ticking up. And apparently they troll feed, so yeah, it seems pretty decent. So if you like control, like me, maybe we can try Esper Calendar Control. All right, continuing on. Like I said, we have a ton of brews today. A lot of people trying new things, especially with the play-in event. People trying a lot of historic stuff. So yeah, here we see some more Rakdos. Adding Inti to the Rakdos deck, Molten Collapse, and that's about it. So yeah, I guess Inti gives you some good discard for your Kraxa, for your Ox, for your Pyromancer, etc. So just a pretty good slot into that deck. Next up, this is mono blue, but they're splashing white to get lost, helping hand, and Monastery Mentor, just to try to make the Haughty Djinn deck a little bit more potent. But you do lose out on some of the draw and the consistency of the mono blue deck, so may not be worth it. Next, we have the Dinosaurs deck, fighting dinosaurs, fight rigging, Pugnacious Hammerskull, Hulking Raptor, all the big dinosaurs. And then this one is a Jund deck, so it has Virtue of Persistence and Go for the Throat as well to kind of have some early removal and late game reanimate all your dinosaurs. Seems pretty scary and pretty interesting. They did pretty well with the deck so far. And if you like kind of cheating out your big stuff with your fight rigging, then yeah, this could be pretty scary. All right, and next Mythic. Someone got Mythic with this deck. Not much new in here. There's a Molten Collapse, and I think maybe a land that's new. Maybe not even a land. Molten Collapse. But it was an interesting deck that didn't see a lot of play. Rakdos Transmogrify in Historic, I believe. So yeah, somehow they made it work with the Traxa, getting their wins, getting to Mythic. So you can do it too. If you like Transmog, if you like Rakdos and Atraxa, you can check this one out. And then finally, Clone Appraiser and Explorer. This is some more shenanigans with the Geological Appraiser and Glasspool Mimic, so you can kind of copy it over and over and over, get a bunch of creatures, and do some crazy things like that. So basically, very similar to a different combo deck we used to have where it would just kind of go super wide, and then you have like a haste and swing in with everything and just destroy the opponent. So this one, kind of a 1-card combo because you just keep copying it. Yeah, so pretty crazy. And they did very well in Explorer with this 5 and 0. So if you play the Explorer format, there's a deck for you you can try out. All right, so we're gonna stop there. It's way too many, to be honest. Too many decks to talk about. I think so far the format feels pretty good. There's a lot of new cards, new people trying new things. I'm trying out some artifact decks and having some pretty good success with that. So that's pretty positive for me. And we'll have to see how things settle out. Aggro is still pretty annoying. It's kind of the deck to beat right now. So you got to make sure that you tune your deck for the aggro decks if you want to reach Mythic. All right, that's going to be it for this time. Hope you go out there, have some fun. It's really fun right now on Standard, so check it out. Till next time, see ya.